I don't think most of you realize that you do not have time. Everything is time. Time can be converted into anything. We all know time can be converted into money. People say often, time is money. This is true. Money is also time. You spend money to save time. Time is the enemy of the rich man, so he takes a private jet to save time. Money is the enemy of a poor man, so he waits on the bus to save money. But they're the same thing, money and time. So when I say you don't have time, this is something you need to remember because it's extremely important and you can apply it to most things. You do not have time to have a headache. Do you understand? I'm not saying you don't have a headache. I'm not saying your head doesn't hurt. But you don't have time for it to affect your life. You do not have the waking hours. You are being outcompeted and crushed by people who are more powerful and more connected than you'll possibly ever be. By people who know things you do not know. You do not have time to have a headache. It's simply not acceptable. How do you perform when you have headaches is a stupid question. The fact you've even framed it in that way shows that you don't understand the world. I'll give you another example. You don't have time to argue with your woman. Your woman started an argument today or yesterday, whatever, and you've been texting back and forth. You don't have time. You have things to do. There's unlimited work in the universe. You don't have time to have a headache or message girls or scroll Instagram. You don't have time for any of these things. Time is your lifeblood. It's all you've got. You can turn time into reputation. You could turn time into global fame. You could turn time into respect. You could turn time into a fantastic body. You could do anything with your time. You could choose a random embassy. You could choose a random country that you have beef with. Chile. And you could go stand outside the Chilean embassy with a sign saying, "Down with Chile," for no reason. But if you stood there every single day, after about 2 years, people would be like, who is this guy and why does he hate Chile so much? You can turn your time into anything you want. So how are you going to waste it sitting around saying, I have a headache? Boo boo, I have a headache. But the question is framed incorrectly. If I have a headache, I don't care. And one of the main reasons I don't care is because my enemy doesn't care. You know, when I got injured when I was training for fights, my coach would often say to me, is your enemy going to hit you less or show you mercy because of this injury? If you say, okay, we're about to fight, but halfway through the training camp, I hurt my foot, so, take it easy. No, he's going to try and destroy me anyway. So if he doesn't care, why do I care? And why does my coach care? Nobody cares. The people who are trying to steal your woman, and trust me, everyone is. The people who are trying to take the money that you want to earn and put it in their pocket before you can. The people who want to have large and gorgeous feathers on their peacock to show the world all the amazing things they've done. They don't care that you have a headache. So why do you care? You need to reprogram your mind. You don't have time to have a headache. You don't have time to be doing the majority of things you do. And there's always been and always will be, and we could talk about that again. We were talking earlier about competence, right? Do you think a woman sees you as competent if you complain about having a headache? Let's say you have a headache. It's fine. You have a headache. I'm not disputing that. Maybe it really hurts. That's terrible. If you go, oh, I've got such a bad headache, do you think a woman looks at you and goes, yes, oh, I found the guy for me? She may not say anything. She may say, oh, do you want a pill? But really, deep down, this guy's a dickhead. I mean, if you got hit in the head with a hammer or shot in the face, fine. But why do you have a headache? From what? Scrolling TikTok. A lot of you deserve the failure you endure. The universe is very giving. I often believe, people say the world's not fair. I'd argue that karmic retributions, and in the long run, all in all, is pretty fair. Karmic retributions are real. In the end, God gives you exactly what you deserve. So if you're not happy with your life, you have to ask yourself, do you really deserve more? Have you really tried 100% of the time? Did you ignore that headache? Are you as competent as you could possibly be? Have you given 100% every time you've done anything? No. You deserve what you have. You deserve your mediocrity because you're an average person. You want a Lambo and these women and a boat and whatever else you want because you see it on Instagram, but wanting something and deserving something are very different things. If you truly deserved it, you'd be working for it in a way that ensures it would be given to you by the universe. Every single thing I've ever wanted, I have got. Maybe not instantly, maybe not easily, in fact, certainly not both. It was always difficult and it always took time, but I really wanted them, so I always got them. And I put in enough work to show God and show the universe I deserved them, so he gave them to me. I cannot remember a single time, and I state this as a matter of fact, this is not hyperbole, I cannot remember a single time I have ever decided not to do something that must be done because I had a headache, ever. It is easier if you enjoy it, because you do not struggle with lack of motivation or lack of interest. For me to say you could honestly be world champion at something you hate is a lie. You can, however, be competent at things you don't like. You can be very good at something you don't like doing. To be the best in the world, you probably have to fall in love with it. But the way you do anything is the way you do everything. And you can fall in love with the idea of being good in general. So anything I do, I don't want to be bad at. I either don't do it or I try my very best all the time to become extremely good at it. I don't see the point in doing anything and being mediocre or being bad at it. What's the point? If I'm going to speak on podcasts, I want to be good at it. Anything I'm going to do, I want to be good at. Now, you should have enough respect for yourself that you're prepared to always put in the effort to give your best 100% because it is a habit. You should always give your best to anything you do. When you pick up a video game, you should give your best. When you drive a car, you should attempt to drive as efficiently as possible, using the brake as little as possible to not waste fuel, to make sure there's no close calls, no sudden braking. Most of you are just getting in your car and driving like a jackass from point A to point B, not trying to actually go, you know what, let me drive and pretend I have the queen in the back seat and I can't even brake suddenly. And I only have a fraction of fuel. How far can I go if I very smoothly, very calmly anticipate the traffic in advance, move my car in and out of the cars so I barely have to brake, keep moving slowly and smoothly? Let me try and get good at this. The way you do anything is the way you do everything. And it is a habit to be good at things. There's nothing wrong with just being good at things. To be the best in the world, you have to love it. That's true. But you're not going to love the majority of things you do. That's not realistic. The world's not going to afford you a life where everything you do you're in love with. In fact, you're going to end up doing a whole bunch of things you don't want to do. And the life hack is, if you enjoy getting better at things, then you can be doing something you don't want to do better than you previously done it, and now you enjoy doing it because you were more competent and more capable at said task. You are now better at said task. Every single thing I approach with vigor because I like being good at things. And that's not because I'm arrogant. That's because I have enough respect for myself, and more importantly, I have enough respect for the people I love to know that I need to be good at things. When my children, or when my women, or my family, or my people who rely on me, my brothers, anybody comes to me expecting me to do something for them, I need to have enough respect for them to know that I'm good at what they ask me to do. And if I don't know what they want me to do, or I'm not particularly good at it, I'm at least good at learning. You can become good at learning so that you learn things faster. Good at concentrating. Good at taking a scenario seriously. These are all basic life skills that go along with bravery. That's going to put you in a competitive bracket amongst the masculine realm which exists today, because most people can't even focus. Most people can't even focus or try hard at anything. So to answer the question, can you become world champion without loving boxing? No, you can't become the best in the world. However, you can become very good at it because you can have enough discipline to ensure that you go to training, and you can make sure that you're the kind of person who, if you're going to go to training, you're going to try your best. Guys, you're going to go to training for an hour. Whether you try hard or don't try hard, you're going to spend an hour in the boxing gym. There is no reason to not try. That is a learned habit. And what you often find with people who need to be motivated into things, because they're not disciplined enough to do things and not disciplined enough to do things properly, they'll go and say, I went to boxing training, as if that's all that it's about. It's not about going to the training. It's about trying hard in the training. It's about giving it your all. It's about dedicating yourself. You're going to give an hour up anyway. There's no reason to not try. Most people go through their entire adult life without trying 100% hardly ever. Think about it. Even when you go to the gym, you don't try 100%. You try 60%, 70%. You don't try 100% at home. What do you try 100% with? Do you really try 100% with work? Are you really moving that mouse as quickly as you possibly can? No, you're not trying. So you have people who have gone through life and are going through life without even giving 100% of what they've got ever. And it's interesting because we're entering the most competitive period of human history. So you need to get very good at everything you do, all of the time. You'll learn a lot of lessons about psychology in the boxing room. Now, they're not related, technically. One's exercise, one's the psychology of people. But you'll learn in the fight ring, you'll learn that you're not tired when you're winning. You're tired when you're losing. That once you start to win, you get to find unlimited energy from the universe from somewhere, and you just continue to push forward, no matter how hard it is. Winning is easy. It's trying to turn it around when you're losing that is difficult. You take this lesson from boxing and you apply it to everything else in life. You apply it to money and say, once I start to make money, I know I will have endless motivation to keep making money. It's just hard to make money in the first place. It's hard to get over that hurdle, but once I get going, it's easy. It's a positive reinforcement loop. It's a spiral upwards into infinity. It's a tornado that takes you to the promised land. So to have that unique psychological conclusion, that unique psychological input, you had to become good at boxing. So it's very important that you're good at everything you do, all of the time. Don't do it if you're not going to try. But you don't want people to learn bad habits. But it's a bad habit to coast. It's a bad habit to spend time and waste it. It's a bad habit to go, I tried, I went, I didn't give it my all, but at least I went. You see this kind of cope online all the time. Yeah, at least I went. It's going that matters. That's not true. It's trying that matters. So you see this kind of cope. Yeah, well, I didn't feel like going to the gym, but I went and just had a light session. Why? You went anyway, so why did you have a light session? If you're gonna go, do it. If you're gonna do it right. There's no point in half doing anything. You may as well have not done it at all. So this idea you're not tired. You're drained from fighting battles nobody sees. You're mentally exhausted because the world has convinced you that peace is laziness. You scroll endlessly, seeking dopamine. You say you need rest, but you're not resting. You're escaping. You don't need a nap. You need a rebirth. And nobody's coming to save you. You either take your mind back now or let the system eat you alive. You wake up tired, not because your body is broken, but because your soul is starving. You drag yourself through the day with a smile you don't feel and energy you don't have. Not because you've done too much, but because you've done nothing that fulfills you. That's the real burnout. It's not from action. It's from the wrong action. It's not because you've been grinding too hard. It's because you've been grinding in the wrong direction, chasing tasks that drain you, pleasing people who wouldn't show up to your funeral, following routines that keep your heart numb and your spirit on life support. You're not burnt out from overworking. You're burnt out from underliving. You've confused movement for meaning. You've been running in circles and calling it purpose. The real problem isn't exhaustion. It's internal betrayal. You betrayed the voice inside that begged you to rise higher, to chase something more, to escape the noise and build a legacy. But you silenced it. You shut it up with distractions. You drowned it in comfort. You told yourself, later, tomorrow, next year. And every time you postponed your greatness, a part of you died. Not visibly, not dramatically, quietly, like a slow bleed. And now you wake up each morning already defeated, pretending you need rest, when what you really need is resurrection. The world told you to take care of yourself, but they never explained what that really means. They told you to rest, but they never taught you how to rebuild. They told you to slow down, but they never told you what you're supposed to be running toward in the first place. They handed you a script of coping mechanisms and called it self-care. But true self-care is self-confrontation. It's looking in the mirror and admitting that you've been passive in your own life. It's recognizing that comfort is not the cure. Clarity is. When your life has no direction, your mind will break down. It has nothing to anchor to. Nothing to fight for, nothing to chase. A man without a mission becomes his own worst enemy every single time. You think you're mentally exhausted because you've been going too hard. No, you're exhausted because you've been tolerating a life that doesn't inspire you. You're worn out from pretending to be okay with average. You're tired because your heart knows you're capable of more, but your habits are stuck in a prison built by fear, laziness, and fake comfort. You don't need to unplug, you need to reboot. You need to rewire your entire mindset. You need to stop asking for relief and start demanding transformation. Because you were never built to coast. You were never made for mediocrity. You are a weapon, and the world has convinced you to live like a tool. There is nothing noble about burnout if it's the result of avoiding your potential. There's no honor in suffering silently for a life that makes you feel empty. If your job makes you sick, quit. If your habits make you weak, kill them. If your friends drain your energy, walk away. Because nothing is more expensive than staying loyal to things that destroy your mind. And nothing is more dangerous than normalizing a slow death. That's what burnout really is. It's the slow death of a man who stopped listening to his soul. But here's the truth they'll never say on a podcast or in some soft therapy session. Your comeback doesn't require a retreat. It requires war. You want to fix your burnout? Stop treating yourself like a victim and start acting like a general. Audit your life like your future depends on it, because it does. Wake up earlier than the sun, Fill your mind with power, not poison. Sweat until your lungs scream. Read until your thoughts sharpen like blades. Take the pain you feel and turn it into strategy. Let the exhaustion fuel the blueprint for your evolution. Don't collapse under pressure, harden under it. Become unbreakable through it. And don't confuse peace with passivity. Peace isn't the absence of work, it's the presence of purpose. When your life aligns with your values, when your mission lights you up, you don't burn out. You ignite. You don't crave escape, you crave execution. The man with a reason doesn't need motivation. He doesn't need breaks. He doesn't need balance. He's lit from within, and the world feels that heat every time he walks into a room. And that's who you're meant to be. That's what's buried beneath the exhaustion, not a broken version of you, a forgotten version, a savage, a creator, a leader, a fire starter. So no, you don't need to slow down. You need to wake up. You don't need more sleep, you need more direction. You don't need a nap, you need a new life. One that matches the power you've hidden inside for too long. You are not here to cope. You are here to conquer. And burnout, that was never your enemy. It was the alarm clock screaming, "Get up! You're not done yet." There was a man I once knew, rich, powerful, physically carved like a statue, reputation sharp as steel, admired by everyone who glanced at his lifestyle. The cars, the money, the women, he had it all. Or so the world thought. But what they didn't see was the war inside his head. Behind the watches and cigars, behind the polished image and controlled voice, was a storm. A silent, chaotic storm ripping through every corner of his soul. Every morning he woke up feeling like a ghost inside a machine. Everything he had built now felt like a golden cage, and even though it glittered, it suffocated him every single day. He didn't understand it at first. He thought maybe he needed a break, a vacation, some self-care, so he flew to tropical islands, sat on private beaches, drank the finest liquor money could buy, and none of it worked. The silence was louder there. Because without the noise of the world to distract him, he had to sit with himself. And he didn't like what he saw. The man in the mirror wasn't tired from building an empire. He was tired from building the wrong one. He had climbed a ladder only to realize it was leaning against the wrong wall. And that kind of exhaustion, it's not cured by sleep. It's only cured by truth. The truth was brutal. He had spent years becoming who the world wanted him to be and abandoned the man he was supposed to become. He followed strategy without soul. He executed plans without purpose. Every goal checked off his list only reminded him how disconnected he had become from his own mission. That's the most dangerous kind of burnout. The one where you succeed in everything except feeling alive. His body was strong, his brand was global, but his heart was flickering out like the final seconds of a dying fire. And he was too proud to admit it. So what did he do? He disappeared, not physically, mentally. Emotionally, spiritually, he started pulling away, not from the world, but from himself. He became numb, empty, a shadow wearing a crown. He showed up to meetings with perfect posture and dead eyes. He laughed at jokes that didn't touch him. He trained in the gym like a machine, not because he loved it, but because it was the only place left where pain still felt real. And nobody noticed. That's how twisted this world is. They'll praise your discipline while you rot inside, because no one checks on the strong. No one asks if the king is okay, as long as the kingdom runs. But one night everything broke. Not because of a tragedy, not because of a betrayal, but because he finally hit the wall he'd been running from. He sat alone in his mansion, lights dim, silence thick like smoke, and he broke. Not loud, not messy, just a silent implosion. His mind folded in on itself. His body felt heavy, his breathing shallow. He didn't post quotes. He didn't vanish to a jungle retreat to find himself. He didn't call friends to complain. He did something stronger. He chose to return, not to the old version of himself, but to the warrior he buried under noise and numbers. He started from scratch, mentally, not financially. He rewired everything. No more yeses to pointless calls. No more pretending in rooms filled with fake praise. No more running from the pain. He faced it. He dissected it. He welcomed it. Because real power isn't found in comfort, it's reclaimed in the fire. That fire burned off everything fake in his life. The fake connections, the fake drive, the fake identity. What remained was him. And here's what most won't tell you. Burnout isn't weakness, it's a signal. It's your soul screaming through the fog, demanding that you return to your path. And yes, it hurts. Yes, it feels like collapse, but collapse isn't the end. It's the detonation you need to rebuild correctly. The problem isn't that you're exhausted. It's that you kept quiet for too long. You've silenced your intuition. You've ignored your calling. You've traded meaning for metrics. And that internal war, it's your reminder, a reminder that you are meant for more than just surviving. You are meant to awaken. The man I told you about, he's alive now, not just existing. Not chasing empty wins. He doesn't need applause. He doesn't care about optics. He built a new empire, not just outside, but inside. And his energy is untouchable. Because when a man burns down everything that no longer serves him, he walks through life with a clarity no system can break. That's what you need. Not a break. Not a weekend off, a full mental resurrection, a ruthless reinvention, a complete destruction of the version of you that's settled, compromised, and tolerated. There's no therapy that will fix a life you don't actually want. You have to rebuild it yourself. And you have to do it now. Because every second you spend in silence, every day you delay your alignment, every night you stare at the ceiling wondering what happened to me, is a second stolen by the old life trying to keep you chained. But deep inside you, there's a man waiting. The man who remembers. The man who's tired of pretending. The man who doesn't want naps. He wants revenge on mediocrity. And the second you unlock him, the burnout disappears. Because fire doesn't fatigue. It only grows hotter. Time isn't slipping away, it's sprinting, full speed while you hesitate at the starting line, hoping life will slow down for your comfort. It won't, it never has. And the sickest joke of all, most people don't realize it until the countdown has already hit 0. You think you've got years. You think you've got time to figure it out. You think one more day of drifting won't cost you. But while you're asleep at the wheel, someone else is building, moving, sharpening. The world doesn't pause for your overthinking. Opportunity doesn't knock forever. It walks past the door and never looks back. And the saddest part? You feel it. Not now, not today, but one day that regret will choke you in your sleep and it won't let go. There's a clock in your chest that doesn't tick in seconds. It ticks in choices. Every decision you postpone is a brick you place in your own prison. Every excuse you defend is another step away from the life that could have been yours. And when that realization slaps you across the face, it won't be gentle. It won't be poetic. It'll feel like drowning in a sea you poured yourself. Because nothing stings more than the agony of, I could have. And the most dangerous emotion on this planet isn't fear, it's regret. Fear you can fight. Regret you can only remember. People waste their prime pretending they're not ready. They convince themselves they need more knowledge, more preparation, more time. No, you need urgency. You need pain. You need to feel the weight of what you're risking by standing still. Every second you delay is a seed you never plant, a fight you never win, a life you never live. And one day, when you're older, slower, and life has wrung the energy from your bones, you'll look back on these moments, this very moment, and scream internally, why didn't I move when I still had fire in my lungs? The greatest pain isn't failure. It's realizing you never even stepped into the arena. You sat in the stands, watching others bleed, win, rise, fall, while you kept polishing the excuse that you weren't ready. You were always ready. You just chose safety over sovereignty. And now you carry a heavy heart, not because life was unfair, but because you never demanded more from yourself. This world doesn't owe you clarity. It rewards those who walk into the unknown, swinging like demons. Most people think they're waiting for a sign, but the truth is they're avoiding the mirror. They don't want to they become passive participants in their own story. But you're hearing this now because deep down you know you're meant to wake the hell up. Fear isn't the enemy. Fear is the signal. If something scares you, it's probably the exact thing that will evolve you. Comfort is the cage. It's the padded room that whispers sweet lies until your potential suffocates in silence. You think staying